Growing older with grace. Reflections on health, mind, and spirit. Aging is one of life's most mysterious gifts. When we are young, we rush forward, hungry for experience, blinded by the belief that time is infinite. But as the years pass, the mirror begins to tell another story. Wrinkles arrive like delicate calligraphy on the skin. The body slows down. Friends and loved ones sometimes fade away. The world feels faster, noisier, harder to keep up with. And in that shift, both our health and our psychology begin to take center stage. To grow old is not only to face changes in the body, but also to wrestle with the questions of the mind and spirit. How do we stay healthy? How do we stay sane, joyful, and purposeful? How do we face loneliness, anxiety, or memory loss with dignity? These questions matter not only for older adults, but for every generation, because one day, if we are fortunate enough, we too will walk the same path. Let us explore together, in a gentle way, the intertwined worlds of health, psychology, and psychiatry in older age. This is not a lecture from a professor or a clinical handbook. Instead, imagine it as a fireside conversation, an offering of wisdom and encouragement for the years when hair turns silver and time feels like both a friend and a stranger. The mind, keeper of memories and meaning. Beyond the physical body lies the vast landscape of the mind. For older adults, mental health can feel like walking through shifting weather. Some days are bright with clarity, full of laughter and gratitude. Other days feel heavy with clouds, loneliness, regret, or fear. One of the most common struggles in later life is depression. It often hides quietly, mistaken for just getting old. But sadness, loss of energy, difficulty sleeping, or a lack of interest in life are not simply normal aging. They may be signs of depression, which deserves attention and care. Anxiety also lurks, sometimes about health, finances, or the uncertainty of the future. Imagine carrying the knowledge of mortality every day. It is no wonder that worry can become overwhelming. For some, panic attacks or chronic tension make ordinary living difficult. Cognitive decline is another tender subject. Forgetting names, losing track of time, repeating stories, these small lapses can be the first whispers of dementia or Alzheimer's disease. The fear of losing one's memory, one's self, is perhaps the deepest fear of old age. And yet, memory loss does not define the soul. The essence of a person, their humor, their kindness, their way of seeing the world, often survives even as cognitive function changes. Body, temple of experience. Health in old age is a complicated symphony. The body no longer regenerates with the same speed it once did. Muscles shrink, bones become fragile, balance may falter. Chronic illnesses, hypertension, diabetes, arthritis, heart disease, tend to emerge like long-term companions. The immune system, once fierce, softens with time. Yet the human body remains remarkably resilient. Even in the late decades of life, it responds to kindness. A balanced meal, a short walk, a gentle stretch. One of the greatest myths about aging is that health decline is inevitable and unstoppable. In truth, lifestyle choices at 60, 70, or even 80 can profoundly shape quality of life. Movement, nutrition, sleep, and regular checkups act like medicine without prescription. Simple daily practices hold power. A 30-minute walk in the morning sun. Eating more vegetables and less sugar. Drinking enough water to keep the body supple. Stretching or practicing yoga to preserve balance. Engaging in strength exercises, even with light weights, to protect the bones. Older adults sometimes underestimate themselves. They think, it's too late for me to change. But science insists otherwise. Muscles can still grow. The brain can still adapt. Habits can still shift. Even small adjustments ripple into great benefits. The spirit, searching for purpose. Health is not only about the body and mind, it is also about the spirit. Older adults often wrestle with existential questions. Why am I still here? What is my role now that my children are grown, my career is finished, my body is weaker? Purpose is like oxygen for the soul. Without it, days can feel empty and meaningless. With it, even suffering can be endured. Research shows that older adults with a sense of purpose live longer, healthier, happier lives. Purpose can come from many sources. caring for grandchildren, volunteering, writing memoirs, gardening, practicing faith, or simply sharing stories with friends. Aging can be seen as a second harvest. The first harvest of life is achievement, career, family, possessions. The second harvest is wisdom, learning to let go, to forgive, to appreciate small joys, to teach younger generations through example. In this way, elders become not just survivors, but guides. The spirit, searching for purpose. Health is not only about the body and mind, it is also about the spirit. Older adults often wrestle with existential questions. Why am I still here? What is my role now that my children are grown, my career is finished, my body is weaker? Purpose is like oxygen for the soul. Without it, days can feel empty and meaningless. With it, even suffering can be endured. Research shows that older adults with a sense of purpose live longer, healthier, happier lives. Purpose can come from many sources: caring for grandchildren, volunteering, writing memoirs, gardening, practicing faith, or simply sharing stories with friends. Aging can be seen as a second harvest. The first harvest of life is achievement, career, family, possessions. The second harvest is wisdom, learning to let go, to forgive, to appreciate small joys, to teach younger generations through example. In this way, elders become not just survivors, but guides. Loneliness, the silent epidemic. One of the harshest psychological burdens of old age is loneliness. Friends pass away, children move far, spouses may be gone, the house that was once filled with voices grows quiet. Loneliness is not just a feeling, it has measurable effects on health, increasing the risk of heart disease, dementia, and even premature death. But loneliness can be softened. Community programs, support groups, religious gatherings, and technology can all help. Even a weekly phone call, a neighborhood walk, or a video chat with family can lift the spirit. The key is to remain connected, to refuse the temptation of isolation. Psychiatry and professional help. Here enters psychiatry, the medical field that treats mental illness with compassion and science. Many older adults hesitate to seek psychiatric help, believing it carries stigma. They fear being labeled crazy. But psychiatry is not about labels, it is about relief. Antidepressants, anti-anxiety medications, and memory-supportive drugs can improve quality of life when used wisely. Therapy, whether individual counseling, group therapy, or family sessions, can provide a safe space to share fears and hopes. Psychiatric care does not erase aging, but it makes the journey gentler. Equally important is psychological education for families. Loved ones often misinterpret the struggles of older adults, brushing off their pain as normal. But when families learn to recognize depression, anxiety, or dementia, they can offer support instead of dismissal. Practical pathways to well-being. Practical pathways to well-being. So, how do we combine health, psychology, and psychiatry into a life of dignity in older age? Here are a few guiding lights. Routine. A daily structure gives stability. Wake, eat, walk, rest, sleep. Rhythm soothes the nervous system. Connection. Relationships keep the heart alive. Invest in conversations, friendships, community. Curiosity. The brain thrives when learning continues. Read books, play games, learn technology, study languages. Gratitude. Keep a journal, list 3 things each day. Gratitude reshapes the mind toward joy. Acceptance. Aging is not failure, it is achievement. To live long is itself a victory. Spiritual practice. Prayer, meditation, or quiet reflection nourish the unseen dimension of life. The beauty of aging. In many cultures, old age is seen as decline. But in others, it is revered as the golden stage of life. Wrinkles are maps of endurance. White hair is a crown of honor. To be old is to have lived, to have seen storms and survived, to have known love and loss and still breathe. Perhaps the greatest psychological task of aging is not to resist change, but to embrace it. To see aging not as the enemy, but as the final teacher. This does not mean ignoring pain, illness, or fear. It means walking with them, hand in hand, and still choosing to smile at the morning sun. Conclusion. Walking each other home. The journey of aging is not solitary. It belongs to all of us, because every society is only as strong as the way it treats its elders. To care for the old is to honor the future. So let us speak with tenderness. Let us encourage checkups, therapy, medication when needed. Let us share stories and laughter across generations. Let us remind older adults that they are not invisible, not forgotten, but deeply valuable. Health, psychology, and psychiatry together create a bridge that carries us safely through the final decades of life, not in despair but in dignity. And at the heart of it all lies a simple truth: to be old is to still be alive. And to be alive is still a miracle.